September is National Suicide Prevention Month, and I would like to share my story. My son took his own life when he was 20 years old, and our life was never the same. His name is Brendan German. I'd like to tell you a little bit of the history, what led up to that tragic event. Now, Brendan, he was a fun kid. He loved life. He had a great sense of humor, sensitive. He loved to watch movies with me. We texted each other every day. And the issues didn't really show up until about high school. And he started having just girlfriend issues. He had depression issues, started to withdraw, had some step-parent issues. And I really saw some of that life just leave him. And his grades suffered. And about the only thing he really loved at that time was golf. And he put a lot of time into his golf game, and he was a great golfer. He was second in the state, but he couldn't go to college on a golf scholarship because he didn't make the grades. And I believe he suffered from depression. But there were signs, and he decided to go to the Navy, and things got worse. He got more and more depressed as he spent time in the service, and he wanted to come home. And of course, he's an enlisted person. He couldn't come home. The very worst time were 13 days Brendan was missing. And he sold his golf clubs before he went AWOL. And so I absolutely knew that he was on a bad path. And I suspected, because I knew how much he wanted to come home and how he had been talking about how depressed he felt. I knew that we had a problem, and he was missing for 13 days. It was horrible. I was sitting at my desk in my office, and it was July 18th of 2008. I got a phone call from an ambulance driver, and he had Brendan. And he wondered if he had seizure problems or if he had a history of blackouts, because he was having seizures. And as it turned out, he had taken 3 bottles of Unisom, and it was hot. His temperature got up to about 108 degrees, and they were trying to save his life. And this was in Scotts Bluff, Nebraska. And the ambulance driver said, can you get here? And so I left. I left immediately and started driving with my mom to Scotts Bluff, Nebraska. And I felt it was so strange, because I felt this peace as I was driving, that I could just focus on driving. And we're about halfway, and I get a call from the emergency room, and they said, don't drive too fast, but get here as quickly as you can, because they didn't know if he would make it through the afternoon. And we went. I got there, and he was very much comatose at that time, and they did everything they could to save him in that hospital. And later that week, he was flown to Anschutz in Denver, where he spent about 6 weeks trying to survive. He had sepsis. It was a roller coaster. I spent every day in the emergency room, meeting other people, praying with a lot of people, seeing a lot of tragedy. Brendan went to rehab after that, but he never recovered. And so it took 2 years and 8 months for him to pass. And he passed in a long-term care facility. And life has not been the same. And I feel committed to helping to inform people about suicide so they can be more aware. And I just want to talk a little bit about some of the signs. Some of the signs you notice when somebody's talking about the world might be better without me, or they start really to withdraw. They start to lose interest in sports. They stop working. They stop getting good grades. They stop thriving. When you see someone like that, it's okay to reach out and see if they're okay. And if they are having suicidal thoughts, they should call the new suicide hotline 988. They should reach out and get help, because people do care, and sometimes what they really need is to know they're loved and people care for them. If you ever have the opportunity to talk with someone, please don't forget to reach out and make sure they're okay. I ask that you please join me and the Greer group in supporting suicide prevention awareness this September. We'd love to save some lives. Thank you.